Hey, what's up, Wills? This is a public service announcement for the market, for you guys, because of the market and my opinion on it as a founder of Web3 Wheels, and to see how we can manage our expectations for 2025. So, shout out to everybody in the community that has been very patient. A lot of small projects, they just fully fall together right now, right? And I think that the biggest thing that has to do with that is the founder or the founders not believing in the market or don't understanding the market. And if they don't have a forecast like it might be okay, then they are pretty easy to give up on the project as well, of course. Now, luckily here, that's not a problem. I entered my 12th year in crypto, and it's not that I feel like, oh, I know what's going to happen. Of course not. But I do feel like sentiment is low, been there before, right? It's not really scaring or anything to me. Now, I want to talk about what we are doing currently and a little bit about the potential plans that are not fully rolled out. But we want to lay some ideas and then let you guys really decide on that. Because there are so many things that we can do in the future, and let's do that together. So, first thing that I want to mention is Powell announced there won't be QE, right? Anytime soon. As long as they can still cut rates, there won't be QE. Now, a lot of people, they say, oh, QE is needed for alt season. I think not. We had the biggest alt season. That was in 2017, and there was no QE back then. As you can see right here, if we overlay the Fed balance sheet on this, you see that it was just going sideways basically, right? So no QE. Only when QT started, there was no alt season anymore. Here as well, when QT started, no alt season anymore. My vision is very simple. Like QT will stop one day because the Fed balance sheet cannot go to zero. They will print money, right? So will we get an alt season? Yeah, the question is more when, right? So I'm not worried about that necessarily. Could QT still stop this year? Yeah, so we can still get an alt season. But do we need it in order for Web3 wills? And why do we talk about the markets in the first place? Because we depend on the market, right? We depend on that. You can say whatever you want, but we invest. We are an investment project, right? So if we invest and the market is not doing well, then we don't get good returns, right? So the market is kind of all we start. Your computer, no. So I think it's important to know about the market and not know what's going to happen, but to understand the market a little bit, right? So therefore, I would say go to the FOMO Factory channel, check these videos. Everything what I say right there about the market, Web3 Whales is kind of parallel to that, right? Now, yet there will be profits for you guys that we can share, but I will talk about that. But what's interesting is if you look, for example, CDeFi, we now tiered up to tier 9, right? So that's beautiful. We have the highest tier there, and we have the highest tier on ChainGPT. The two best launchpads, we are maxed out, okay? So the preparation for these launchpads, beautiful, right? Beautiful. Now, if you look at the launches from CDeFi, when did the best launches this cycle so far take place? It was kind of the period, a very short period from, November, right, until January. Right, that was kind of a very small IDO season, but a very small and short-lived IDO season. Right, so I started to look like, okay, well, why? What was happening in the market back then? So if we look at altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, right, alt season, you can see that from November until, January was this period right here, right? Was where altcoins had a, pathetic bounce, right? 35% until January or so against Bitcoin, right? It's nothing like wow, but still, right? However, this bounce was way more interesting than this bounce, for example. And why is that? That's because if you overlay Bitcoin, you can see that this bounce took place when Bitcoin was sitting at 100K. This bounce took place when Bitcoin was sitting at 20 to 40K. right? So what we see in the market is as as long as Bitcoin is sitting, at decent levels, as soon as the altcoin market bounces a little bit against Bitcoin, you don't already notice on your altcoin portfolio, but also on the IDOs, right? Like, it's not that you walk away with an instant 30x, right? But if you get a 30 here, 19 there, and a 13 there, and 20 there, right? And a couple of 2, 3, whatever. These are a lot of projects lately with 50 or 100% TGE. These are some really decent returns, actually, right? So we're now maxed out. Love that. And I think that these periods will happen again, right? One, again, I think that QT will stop one day. At least I think it will, right? Again, Fed balance sheet cannot go to zero, so it will stop one day. So then that's already going to be better than this or this or this, right? But even if not, it showed like, hey, even during QT, we can still get these moments of outperformance, right? And it's very simple. When the market is down, we step up, we prepare, we buy Launchpad tokens. And when it's going up, we go freaking hard on these IDOs, right? As long as the market is doing this, fine, we go with the market like that. I'm personally waiting for that big explosive move if QT is gonna stop, because then it's like crazy. Then people wish they bought tier 9. That's the moment where I've been talking about with all my excitement, right? But in the meantime, with the tiers that we have right now, we can still get something really good out of it. Really good. Now, I'm thinking lately about how can we still get a little more hype to Web3 whales, right? Because I don't want to be the guy that says, oh yeah, we have to wait for the market. For a big part, especially in what we do, we have to wait for the market. But it doesn't mean we cannot do anything in the meantime, right? We can always work, connect, build, whatever. There's always something to do, right? And what I'm lately thinking about is like, how can we get a little more hype, basically, or excitement, right? Something that makes people feel like, oh, I want to be there. I want to be there. Like investing, they can do that themselves, right? And people notice that that's not going that well. So why the hell would they come to us right now? I get that. I get that. Now the prices are low. That's the best move in my opinion. But I get why people are not interested in more investing at the moment. Let's first see some returns. Oh, it's hot. Now, therefore, we need a little more hype. Somebody in the chat mentioned, can we release a meme coin? And I thought about that, but I also replied with, you know what it is? Meme coins take a lot of money. Don't underestimate that. Takes a lot of time as well. Meme coins take more time than what we have, for example. You constantly have to be there, constantly. I don't want to divide my attention too much. But also, we should not divide the community's liquidity too much. If you have $1,000, right? Yeah, then you be like, okay, 500 in Web3 whales and 500 in the meme, or everything in the meme, or like, I don't want to make it harder than it needs to be right now, right? Plus, it's also, meme coins are not sustainable. It's likely to fail for a lot in the short term, but overall in the long term anyway. I don't want to have that extra pressure, because if we feel like, man, it's more work than we thought and we can't handle it and whatever, and we decide to let go of the meme coin project, then it automatically brings some kind of a worse reputation for Web3 whales as well. I see more cons than pros in this case. However, I do agree that we should bring something to Web3 whales to make it a little more hypey. And that's what I'm now sometimes like studying other projects, like what brings the excitement, right? What brings the excitement? I want to learn from that and apply it. Feel free to think with us in the chat, but I'm already writing down some things. And as soon as it's there, I'm going to share it with the mods. As soon as they feel like, nice idea, we can share it with you, vote, and then go on with that. Now, what I also, last thing for now, what I want to mention is that at a certain point, the market is going to top out, right? At a certain point. For example, with Seedify, we are staking the token for a month constantly, right? You can do it for 12 months or slightly shorter to get more incubation tokens. I don't care. I'd rather keep the tokens liquid, right? Let's say we lock it now for 12 months and the market is going to top out in 8 months from now. We have to write it down for 4 months. Believe me, that you don't want to do that. At a certain point, it is going to top out. Let's go to Seedify, right? And this is by no means a prediction, but just as an example. Let's say Seedify is going to top out here, right? Whatever. End of the year, $7. Just calling something, right? If it's going to top out there, what I want to do is I want to try to get that as close as possible, of course, maybe slightly later. So we can get the IDOs in the peak bull phase as well, because these are most profitable, right? And then when that's clearly over, then be like, okay, get out of Seedify, get out of ChainGPT. Because, yeah, we can still keep on investing in the bear market. But on the other hand, you know, making sure that you reserve your cash or whatever you have during the bear market and then getting in again in the next bull is a lot more profitable, right? Plus the tokens that we buy here, we still get invested over here. So there's always something coming in. We will try to do that as good as possible. The entries, close to perfect. Now the exits as well, right? Otherwise the entries are no use. But then, and we will do a vote on that as well, it's the question, okay, what are we going to do with that? Let's say Seedify goes here, right? $700,000. Well, then ChainGPT goes with it and everything. And then only with these two Launchpad tokens, we have somewhat of $1 million, maybe, something like that. Then it's a question, what are we going to do? We're going to keep that $1 million, wait for the bear market to play out, and reinvest in whatever we can choose. Bitcoin maybe, right? We don't have to go in IDOs right away in the next bull. We can also ride the Bitcoin like really investors do. Talk about that. Or are we going to say like, hey, sell it, put the money in the staking contract. It's for you guys, right? But then we have nothing to start with in the next bull market. And I don't want to be the kind of project or run the kind of project that is here now, but not in the next bull, right? I think our idea is great. We had a great start with zero. Yeah, if we can start with a lot of money in the next bull, then we nail it, right? Or we can do it maybe 50-50, right? Keep half, distribute half to you guys, whatever, right? That's something that we are thinking about and that we want to let you guys vote on, right? So for now, you can put your suggestions in the chat as well, but just know that we are already thinking about that at least, right? So that's for now. Now, one last thing. Yeah, look, I mean, if you look at profits, etc., I know it's been disappointing, right? I know it's been disappointing, but it's very simple. The whole market has been disappointing so far. So yeah, we are not, unfortunately, immune to that, right? Market just goes down, down, down. And some coins hold up or do well, but a lot of coins, dude, they are down 80, 90%, just like 2017 all over again, right? Yeah, the same goes for the projects that we invested in, right? Maybe even worse because they had a lot of vesting as they were new, right? So you might feel like, oh, profits are not doing well. Yeah, but I hope we all understand why that is, right? Even if we look at our most successful one, right? Which is Portal, right? Lost every key support, right? Luckily, we bought it at 4.5 cents. So yeah, I mean, we're still at a 3x, right? So that's fine. We can get that money coming in, and that's going to you guys. But it's not the spectacular 50x or anything yet, right? Again, in my opinion, it like all these kind of coins are so new and so low liquidity that when the market does turn around, I see a lot of these projects, if they didn't die, really blow up hard, really hard. Because they are all like, man, some are 100K market cap or something like that. It's insane, right? Really insane. We are whales on a lot of these projects. A lot. Not to mention the projects that are yet to come out. So I updated the sheet right here. I have to update this, but what you can do is you can look at the projects with a check mark. Is all distributed already. We have the profits. That's it. No more coming in. Right. We have the projects that's having nothing. They are already released, but still money coming in. But we also have the projects which soon they are about to release yet. And we did a lot of projects in the past as well from long ago, like 2023, Space, not out yet. Endless Clouds, not out yet. Inception, not out. Why? Chronoforge, Min Defense, Action AI, and one allocation bigger than the other. Privacy, really like that one, by the way. Play Ember, 15K there. Evermoon, 34K there. Somo, really good one, by the way, 5,600. These projects are smart, right? I know it sucks to wait that long on them. On the other hand, do you really want these projects, especially a lot of gaming, to release now in a downwards market when nobody is here? The people are here, don't give a shit, and they especially don't give a shit about gaming right now. Let them wait. The time will come. I'm very happy they choose to do that. And I think there are some bangers right there. Really some bangers right there. So you can count like that, like, hey, how much money is still coming in? And what you can also then do is calculate for yourself, right? Hey, the last payout was this amount of money in total. What was my share? Cool. So how much percent did I get? Cool. How much is still getting vested? Even if it's all be a 1x, right? Not up, not down, just back to us, right? How much being vested? You can calculate that right there. How much percent do you get then? That way, I'm a nerd. Like, I like that kind of stuff, right? To do that, but whatever. Overall, to wrap it up, yes, we are thinking about how to expand, how to get more hype to the project. I have a lot of faith in this market, although it is going down right now. But I'm not the type of person that looks at the lows and be like, oh shit. I rather look at the lows and be like, oh, if it goes up now, man. I mean, great. I don't know. I'm really bullish. And what also is really bullish to me is that a lot of people, I don't know. Some people, they are not bullish and they gave up. They sold in the meantime. This number was higher first and people unstaked, and I can't blame them. I mean, people, they want to save what's left. I get that, right? But you see that the weekends are leaving all kind of projects. More for me. That's how I look at it. I'm also an investor. More for me, right? I feel like, man, at a certain point, a lot of people are out. That's fine, right? That's fine. Green is the best marketing ever. Once we go up, you can see that we go up further and further and further. That's how it works. But in the meantime as well, feel like, man, if we have 1 million to distribute, right? Let's say a lot of people, they give up, they sell their tokens. And it's a lot of share from that 1 million for me, for you, for whoever. And as long as these people are not selling, then our price stays nicely up, right? So I'm not mad about that. And for the people focused on the price, like everything I just mentioned leads back to the price, right? That's how it is. I mean, returns go to the price, the market going up goes to the price, right? If we eventually have good bangers and we buy back and burn, people have profits, they maybe buy more, right? The we are a low cap project, right? With, I don't know, hundreds of thousands or a million or whatever under our project. And yeah, I mean, if we multiply that a little bit and put that in our low cap project, then so. But it's a patience game. It's a real patience game. We try to stay active with some giveaways here and there, updates about the market, the projects that we invested in. We cannot announce new things after new things or like this, make videos all the time. At a certain point, there's not much more to say. And we have to make sure that either we build on something that gives us something to say, or wait for the market that gives us something to say. For now, again, like I said, we're not just waiting for the market, but that would be most helpful, of course, if the market turns around at a certain point, which I think it will. So for now, I want to leave it here. I hope you appreciate the update. Any questions, whatever, we can also, again, do an AMA one day. Let me know.